Another first for the city of Houston. We first told you about this last week. Our city is going to be among the first in the country to experience 5G wireless technology. Verizon announcing that it is going to begin rolling out a residential network before the end of the year and then a mobile version next year. It's going to change how some people use their phones, but the impact stretches well beyond handheld devices to transportation, healthcare, and entertainment.
Despite a number of lawsuits from cities and states, objections from scientists and health professionals, concerns from citizens, politicians, and journalists, the CTIA, the FCC, and Donald Trump continue to push the 5G agenda forward. As I discovered in my research, there are health and privacy concerns around cell phones, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, laptops, and other digital devices. The research shows we should limit our exposure to these devices and find ways to protect our privacy. We should also recognize that the major difference between the 5G smart grid and the current technology is that once 5G rolls out, you will not be able to avoid it. You can choose not to use a cell phone or not install Wi-Fi in your home, but once the 5G network is complete, you will be surrounded by hundreds of thousands of sensors, small cells, and other infrastructure. Once I understood the implications of this, I realized I had to know what I can do to protect myself, my family, and my friends. Chapter 4. Solutions. The reality is that we are already living in the electro-digital smog. The public has excitedly purchased the latest upgrades to their digital technology of choice. From smartphones to laptops, doorbell cameras, public Wi-Fi networks, home assistants, smart houses, and the early stages of 5G, we are inundated with digital technology which emit various levels of radio frequency radiation. Bit by bit, device by device, we are being exposed to an increasing level of radiation, and this cumulative effect has the potential to cause a great amount of harm to the public. Collectively, each of these devices form a digital panopticon, where private companies, law enforcement, governments, and hackers can literally trace your movements from the moment you wake up and interact with your phone throughout your entire day as you move through public spaces and visit your work, family, and friends. If the public doesn't wake up to these dangers and quickly organize a massive global effort to push back against 5G, the smart city future seems inevitable. So what would this pushback look like, and what can we do as individuals? First, the opposition would need to involve ending the relationship between big wireless execs and government officials, as well as an honest discussion about the established dangers posed by our digital world. Organizing political opposition should take place at all levels, but I highly encourage everyone to start getting involved in their local communities and asking about the dangers presented in this documentary. You can join a local group that might be talking about 5G, privacy, health, or the environment, and let them know about these concerns. If there isn't a group already, you can start one. Pass out flyers at community festivals, farmers markets, concerts, and political events. You can host educational events at community centers and show this documentary. If your neighborhood has a homeowners association or similar group, you can attempt to fight against the installation of new small cells in your neighborhood. Some activists and concerned homeowners have even filed lawsuits in an attempt to stop the 5G rollout. When it comes to solutions for protecting yourself in the meantime, remember that the National Toxicology Program's 10-year study recommends those concerned about the potential health risks from radiofrequency radiation should, quote, use speaker mode or headset or reduce the amount of time spent using your cell phone. Simply put, limiting your use of and exposure to these devices is the best solution available. I would recommend turning your phone on airplane mode when not using it or simply turning it off when not in use. I know, it's a scary thought, but we will survive. I would also stop using Bluetooth headphones and stop using Bluetooth while driving in your vehicle. There are also companies producing devices which are supposed to be able to block or absorb the EMFs emitted by our devices. Do your research and see what works for you. Probably one of the most important steps to take is to stop falling asleep with your phone or next to your laptop. I also started unplugging my Wi-Fi at night to protect myself from unnecessary exposure while I'm sleeping. The exposure to these devices and the radiofrequency radiation they emit has the potential to disturb your sleep and create stress. This can cause an overall decline in the body's ability to heal and repair at night. When it comes to your home or office, I recommend rewiring as much as possible using Ethernet cables for your desktop or laptop. This will allow you to remove Wi-Fi if you choose and drastically decrease your exposure. There are even options available to use Ethernet connections on your cell phone. There are also similar concerns regarding the smart meters which have been rolled out around the US. Do some research and find out if you can opt out of a smart meter in favor of an analog meter. Remember what I said about the difference between 5G and previous technologies? Once it's rolled out, you will not be able to avoid it while in public. No matter what you do in your house or with your own phone, if 5G is everywhere, there will be no way to opt out. I have seen researchers working on devices that could protect you in public by either repelling or absorbing the EMFs, and others have suggested clothing that can defend you, but for the moment, none of these seem adequate to protect you from the coming 5G smart grid. So after spending the last year diving deep into this topic, interviewing experts, and networking with other researchers, I have no doubt that 5G is being promoted under false pretenses.
We won the race in 4G, and that's why all the innovation happens here in the United States. We've got 30 trials here in the United States, but China's got 100 trials going on this year. Japan and Korea are really racing to get it done for their Olympic commitments.
Just like the Greeks bearing false gifts to the people of Troy, government officials and the big wireless industry are promising the people that 5G is a gift too good to pass up. As we have shown, there are numerous valid reasons to oppose the 5G rollout. Whether it's concerns about health, privacy, local power, or the environment, the government and the wireless industry need to answer our questions. Another thing, where's the media been during all of this? If I could dig up this information and gather these sources with my limited skills and time, why didn't the corporate media identify and report on the concerns about 5G?
Thanks again for having me.
Why did the New York Times and other compliant media outlets insinuate that opponents of 5G are simply victims of Russian disinformation? Instead of listening to the researchers speaking up and the people pushing back, the media stood silent. So all this begs the question, would consumers be so quick to embrace cell phones, Wi-Fi, and 5G if the wireless industry and their partners in government hadn't silenced critics and corrupted the science? If the public knew this information, would that change their minds? Does it change yours? The cold hard truth is that we have willingly accepted this technology. Yes, we have been lied to by the people we thought we could trust, but at the end of the day, the power is in our hands. We get to decide whether we surround ourselves with devices that threaten our privacy and our health. We must take responsibility for our own actions and remember to be skeptical of promises of convenience and utopia. As the saying goes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Thank you for watching.